One word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Amazing.
Yes.
A beast. She is the truth.
It's intense. Caitlin Clark is off that shit now. She let it all slide the first year. They was pushing her and all that. She like, you know what?
I'm in here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here, and this is what it's gonna be this year.
Caitlin Clark finally stood up for herself. No more staying quiet.
There's hype, and then there's impact. Most rookies enter the league quietly, trying to find their footing, earn respect, and adjust to the pace. But Caitlin Clark? She skipped the slow build. She came in loud, confident, and completely unshaken. Her presence demanded attention. From deep threes that felt personal to no-look passes only she could see, Caitlin didn't wait for the spotlight. She seized it. And one NBA legend took notice. Larry Bird isn't one to speak often, but this season, he sent a message loud and clear. He sees Caitlin Clark and he's not holding back. Because what she's doing isn't just impressive, it's historic. And when Larry Bird speaks up, it means something. Especially when it's about someone who's rewriting the game in real time. Caitlin Clark hasn't just arrived, she's shifted the landscape of women's basketball. Her presence has become a must-see, drawing praise from NBA legends like Bird, Hall of Fame coaches, and former All-Stars alike. She's not just sparking conversation, she's commanding it, forcing even the most seasoned voices in the game to pay attention and weigh in. Her impact isn't a moment, it's a movement. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star riding a wave, she's a force of nature, a disruptor, a cultural flashpoint. The kind of athlete who changes the energy in every arena, who redefines what's possible every time she steps on the floor. Some are calling her the future, others say she's already the best show in basketball. But one thing's clear, this isn't just a hot start. It's history in motion. Before the stats, before the triple-doubles, before the three-point record pace, Caitlin Clark did something that very few athletes managed to pull off. She made people care, not just fans or the media, but the voices who shape the narrative of sports. And when Stephen A. Smith, arguably the loudest, most influential voice in basketball media, steps up to talk about Caitlin Clark, it's not a clip you scroll past. It's a moment that matters. Because this isn't Smith being asked. He brings it up himself.
I totally applaud what Caitlin Clark is doing. She's putting the WNBA first. She's saying, yo, we matter first to me. We should matter first to the ladies.
This is one of the most outspoken personalities in sports media. A man known for being critical, calculated, and unfiltered. Not just defending her, but celebrating her. Not for her shot and scoring, but for something deeper. Her priorities. Caitlin isn't just playing the game, she's elevating it. She's walking into press conferences and reminding everyone that women's basketball isn't a sideshow. It's the main event. And she's doing it in a way that forces people to listen. With poise and purpose, with every bucket, pass, and quote, she's showing that she's not just here for herself, she's here to lift the entire league with her. NBA media sees it. And slowly, so does the world. When you're getting compared to Magic Johnson, that's not just any compliment, but an actual coronation. Magic knows exactly what it means to be more than just a star. He didn't just light up the league with his passing or smile his way through highlight reels. He changed how the NBA looked, how it played, and how it was talked about. So when he looks at Caitlin Clark and says she's doing the same thing, that's legacy-level respect.
Joy, I love it because, to your point, they dominated in college. And
as you both did.
Yes. And then they brought it over to the WNBA, just like we brought it to the NBA. We changed the NBA. They changed the WNBA.
Yeah.
This is a Hall of Famer not just praising her skills, but aligning her impact with what he and Bird did for the NBA. That's not something you say lightly. Magic sees the way Caitlin's game commands attention, how she carries the spotlight like it's part of her uniform, how she's helping turn a league into a movement. She's not just lifting her team, she's lifting the entire ecosystem of women's basketball. New fans, more eyes, even more money, and the momentum the league needs. And when someone like Magic Johnson connects the dots between what she's doing now and what changed basketball forever in the 80s, that's not just validation. That's history, recognizing history in the making. What do you do when one of the greatest coaches in the history of basketball says he would have loved to coach you? You listen. Coach K isn't just a Hall of Fame coach, he's the blueprint. 5 national titles, 3 Olympic gold medals, and more NBA lottery picks than most college programs have wins. He's coached LeBron, Kobe, KD, Curry, and now he's watching Caitlin Clark and seeing something rare and something special, something he'd want to build around.
Yeah, well, she's terrific, and it'd be easy to build something on her because she's very young. The best thing she does is pass. She's a magical passer, and she has a great feel for the game. So, I mean, what her coach did, I would have done exactly what she did. Make sure she handles the ball a lot, and she'll make everybody better.
The scoring is undeniable. The logo threes are everywhere. But what Coach K zeroes in on? The passing and feel for the game, the ability to control the game without forcing it. He calls her a magical passer, and that word matters, because that's not just about assists. That's about vision, timing, anticipation, the stuff that doesn't show up on stat sheets, but wins games. She doesn't just make the right play, she sees it before it happens. Not just running the offense, she elevates everyone in it. And when a coach who's worked with the greatest basketball minds alive says, "I would have done exactly what she did," he's giving you his approval. That's Coach K watching Caitlin Clark and seeing a leader, a connector, and a generational basketball IQ all in one. In a world of highlight reels, flashy edits, and scripted sound bites, sometimes it's the shortest answers that say the most. Luka Doncic, MVP candidate, all-NBA mainstay, and one of the most unguardable players in basketball, doesn't do dramatic speeches. He doesn't talk just to talk. So when he was asked on camera, point blank, who his favorite women's basketball player is, he didn't hesitate. Didn't even really need time to think.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he needed to say. And honestly, that might be the most Luka answer possible. Because real ones recognize real. Luka knows what it takes to dominate from day one, to enter the league with expectations strapped to your back and still manage to control the game. And when he watches Caitlin Clark, he sees more than just talent. He sees command, the same kind he plays with. He's not a WNBA analyst, he's giving a name, straight from the top of his mind. And that's what makes it hit harder. There are 1,000 ways to say someone is great, but for a player like Luka, whose own greatness is defined by feel and instinct, this kind of answer means even more. It tells you she's not just popular, she's respected by those at the highest level of the game. That her game translates. Her swagger doesn't just work in the college game or the WNBA, they impress people who do it at the highest level, every night. In just a few words, Luka let the basketball world know that Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves. She's already got the best watching. You know you've broken through when your name gets mentioned next to icons. And not just basketball icons, but cultural forces. Colin Cowherd doesn't deal in hot takes for the sake of it. He crafts narratives. He connects sports to society. So when he starts listing off names like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, and Taylor Swift, he's not just talking about success. He's talking about impact. He's talking about people who didn't just dominate their field, they changed how people viewed the field itself. And then, without flinching, he adds Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese is a good player. She's not a phenomenon. Tiger was. LeBron was. Taylor Swift is. Caitlin Clark is.
This is no knock on Angel Reese, it's a spotlight on how rare Caitlin Clark really is. Phenomenons don't come around often. They're the ones who shift ratings, sell jerseys, crash ticket websites, and turn a casual Tuesday night game into a can't-miss event. That's what Caitlin is doing, not just for the WNBA, but for the entire sport. She's not waiting for the league to catch up. She's dragging it into the spotlight herself. And when Colin Cowherd says, "You belong in the same sentence as Tiger and LeBron," he's not talking about potential. He's talking about none other than presence. Caitlin Clark doesn't just have the spotlight, she is the spotlight. There's a weight that comes with being the one. It's not just about the attention, it's about how every single move gets scrutinized. Caitlin Clark plays with fire. That's part of what makes her special. But when you're the face of the league, whether officially or not, the target on your back gets bigger. And as Michael Thompson points out, sometimes that pressure isn't just coming from opponents. It's coming from the system around her.
That flagrant foul that she committed the other day, I thought it was a hard foul. I didn't think it was a flagrant foul, but I think they do that, Dan, because they overreact to everything Caitlin does. Is they don't want to show like they're showing any favoritism to her. So we got to upgrade it to a flagrant foul, because if we don't, then people say, well, we're protecting her. by not upgrading it to a flagrant foul. So I think that's why the referees overreacted in that play.
This is a former NBA champion, the father of a perennial all-star, saying what a lot of people are thinking, that Caitlyn is under a microscope. The spotlight she earned doesn't just shine on her game, it magnifies everything she does. And the fear of seeming biased? It's leading to actual bias in the opposite direction. She's being held to a different standard, not just by critics, but by officials. And yet, she keeps showing up, keeps carrying that pressure like it's part of her warm-up routine. Because when you shift the culture, people don't always know how to respond. But Caitlyn does. She just keeps hooping. There's analysis and even commentary. And then there's Jeff Teague, raw, unfiltered, and unapologetically honest. He's not there to dress things up. He's there to call it how he sees it. So when the topic of Caitlyn Clark comes up, he skips the media training, skips the code switching, and just tells the truth.
Like, if you being real, what do Angel Reese get that Caitlyn Clark don't get? Why would she hate her?
Like, if you being real, what do Angel Reese got that Caitlyn Clark gonna get? Why would she hate her? It's not about stirring up drama. It's not about starting a rivalry. He is simply addressing the elephant in the room. The tension and the comparisons, the way two young stars who should be building the future of women's basketball together keep getting framed like enemies in a rivalry they never asked to be a part of. What Jeff is saying goes deeper than just names. He's pointing out a double standard, a narrative that turns every headline into a battle. And in the middle of that, Caitlyn Clark, doing what she always does, showing up, playing her game and catching heat for simply being excellent at it. Teague's not criticizing Angel. He's questioning the hate. Why is it that when Caitlyn gets attention she's clearly earned, it feels like someone else has to lose? Why is her success so often met with resentment instead of recognition? The truth is, Caitlyn Clark isn't being handed anything. She's earning it with every deep three, every full-court assist, every packed arena. And Jeff knows it. That's why he doesn't hedge, he doesn't throw shade, and Jeff just keeps it real. Because at the end of the day, it's not about which player you root for. It's about respecting the ones who change the game. And Caitlyn Clark, she's doing exactly that. There's always a tipping point in every star's rise, the moment when admiration turns to agitation, and the player who once captured everyone's attention becomes the one everyone wants to beat. For Caitlyn Clark, that shift came fast. And as Gilbert Arenas puts it, she didn't just walk into the villain role, she owned it.
Caitlyn Clark was a bad guy. She was the one that was with everybody doing all this, waving, turning her back on everybody. Everybody's like, oh, she's a cocky little son.
And that kind of reaction? That only happens when you're disrupting the rhythm of the game and the comfort of your opponents. Caitlyn's not trying to fit in, she's trying to win. And sometimes, winning looks like waving people off, turning your back after a dagger three, or playing with the kind of confidence that makes people uncomfortable. Gilbert's not criticizing it, he's highlighting it. Because when a player rattles cages like that and backs it up every single night, that's not arrogance. This isn't coming from a hater. This is coming from someone who was that guy, someone who knew how to weaponize confidence, who understood how dangerous swagger can be when it's backed up with buckets. Gilbert knows what he's watching. And what he sees in Caitlyn isn't disrespectful. She's not just scoring, she's dictating tempo, pace, and emotion. She gets under your skin, and she still beats you easily. That's why people talk. Because deep down, they know that if she wasn't so good, they wouldn't care what she said or how she acted. There's hype. And then there's being the main event. Caitlyn Clark's not just driving viewership, she's becoming the headliner, the reason fans tune in, the name people circle on the calendar. And when WNBA legend Cynthia Cooper sat down with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, it wasn't about wins or stats. It was about what everybody wants to see.
You know what I want to see in the WNBA All-Star game? I want to see Sabrina Ionescu shoot against Caitlyn Clark.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that three-point shooting contest.
Yeah, facts.
That's dope. Hopefully it'll be there. It's in Indiana this year, right?
Yep.
This isn't just a casual convo. This is a Hall of Famer saying out loud what every fan, every player, and every executive is thinking. Caitlyn Clark isn't just in the WNBA. She's bringing entertainment value that transcends the league. People want to see her under the lights on the biggest stage, not just competing, but putting on a show. A shootout with Sabrina isn't just a matchup. It's a moment. It's made for TV and evidently a must-watch. It's the kind of thing that elevates both players and adds fuel to a rivalry the league desperately needs. And the fact that it's even being talked about this way? That's the Caitlyn effect. When you become the player people want to see, Even in an all-star event, that's not just star power, she's box office. Larry Bird has never been one for empty praise, but when he speaks, it carries weight. And this season, he's made it clear. He's paying close attention to Caitlin Clark. As critics and players have lined up to challenge her, Bird sees something familiar in the way she's responded. Not with complaints, but with fire. He's watched her take the hits, silence the noise, and keep delivering night after night. For Bird, this isn't just impressive, it's personal. He knows what it means to be targeted for being great. And he's proud to see Clark standing her ground and pushing back.
Caitlin Clark finally stood up for herself. No more staying quiet. Seeing her shut down Angel Reese was just the start. Now it's her turn to go at the other woke players who thought she wouldn't fight back.
Larry Bird's message was clear. He's glad Caitlin Clark is fighting back, not just with words, but with her game. For Bird, who built his legacy on toughness and refusing to back down, seeing Clark stand her ground hits home. It's not just about proving doubters wrong, it's about showing them she belongs. And with Bird backing her, the message to the league is loud and clear. Keep talking. Caitlin will keep answering. When LeBron James speaks, the world listens. His words move headlines. His support turns moments into milestones. He's been the face of basketball for 2 decades, and his opinion doesn't just reflect the culture, it helps shape it. So when he hits Twitter during opening week and gives a shout-out to Caitlin Clark, it's not just a pat on the back, it's a passing of the torch, or at the very least, an acknowledgement that someone new just entered the rarest air. Triple-double Caitlin, great way to kick off the season. It's just one sentence. But coming from LeBron, that's all it takes. This is a player who knows exactly what it's like to be young and already carrying the weight of a league. He knows what it means to have every move dissected, every headline tied to your name, and every performance expected to be historic. He's lived under that pressure for 20 years, and now he's seeing Caitlin shoulder that same pressure and thrive. He's not just shouting her out for the triple-double, he's signaling that she belongs. That what she's doing isn't just impressive for a sophomore or for the women's game. It's impressive, period. When one of the greatest of his generation takes a moment to recognize yours, that's bigger than a tweet. That's validation from the top of the mountain. And let's be clear, LeBron doesn't do this for everyone. He's a student of the game, he's selective with praise, and when he sees something special, he doesn't over-explain it. He just calls it out. Direct, simple, certain. That's what Caitlin Clark has earned. Not hype and not potential, but respect from the highest level. When LeBron co-signs you, it means you're already part of the story. And for Caitlin Clark, that story's just getting started. Sometimes the boldest statements come from the people who've been inside the fire. Rashad McCants isn't a casual viewer. He's been in the league. He's felt the weight of expectations. He's seen how quickly fans and media turn when things don't go your way. So when he jumps online and makes a claim this loud, this direct, and this unfiltered, you know he's not just trying to go viral. He's speaking from experience. The face of the NBA is Caitlin Clark. It's easy to write this off as hyperbole, until you realize he's not just hyping her game. He's praising how she handles everything that comes with the spotlight. And that might be the most impressive part of Caitlin Clark's rise. Because yes, the scoring is outrageous. The vision, the range, the competitiveness, it's elite. But what's truly rare is her ability to carry all the noise that comes with being great. The criticism has been constant, and the pressure non-stop. The double standards couldn't be more obvious. And yet, she never ever runs from it. McCants is saying what many are afraid to admit, that Caitlin's composure under fire rivals that of the biggest names in history. And not just in the WNBA, in the NBA. The league that has seen some of the most scrutinized, dissected, and overanalyzed players in sports history. And he's not saying she might be the GOAT someday. He's saying she's already walking like it, already carrying herself like someone who understands exactly what this moment means. It's not about whether you agree with him. It's about acknowledging that the conversation even exists, and that Caitlin Clark has earned a seat at that table. When people start throwing GOAT labels around this early, it's not hype anymore, it's legacy knocking on the door. And in Caitlin's case, she might have already walked through it. Love her or hate her, you have to talk about her. She's the headline before the game starts and the clip that goes viral after the final buzzer. She's changing the league, shifting the media, and dragging an entire sport into the spotlight with every step-back three, every no-look dime, and every time she stares down a defender like she already knows how it ends. She's earned the respect of legends. She's made critics louder and less relevant. And she's forcing a conversation that women's basketball hasn't had on this scale. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just living up to the hype, she's rewriting it in real time, shot by shot. And if this is what her sophomore season looks like, then we're not just watching a breakout year. We're watching the beginning of something we'll be talking about for decades, the face of the league, the spark of a movement, and maybe, just maybe, the start of a legacy that only a few athletes in any sport ever get to write. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing right now isn't just special, it's seismic. She's playing in the league and she's changing how we look at it. She is the moment. And she's doing it all without apology, without fear, and without slowing down. The stage is hers now, and from the way this story's going, it's clear that she's just getting started.